Hi everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. This is Kathy, and I'm excited to share 2 cards today using the Hoppiness stamp set and coordinating dies from Gerda Steiner Designs, as well as the stitched triple peekaboo window die from My Favorite Things. I started out by stamping 3 of the bunnies onto a piece of 80-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock. I used My Favorite Things Extreme Black Hybrid ink because I plan on doing some very simple Copic coloring. And you'll see that before I actually ink up the stamps, I'm rubbing them on the palm of my hand. And that's just to kind of season them a little bit because I hadn't used them yet. So after I had them stamped out, I just jump right in with the coloring. And as I mentioned, it's very simple. I was pretty much just adding some shading where shadows would be. I used 2 different grays and 2 different pinks for their ears and their nose. And then I just did a really quick swipe with my colorless blender just to blend it all together. And with that, I'm going to play some music, and once I'm done coloring, I'll be back. Once I was done with the coloring, I did run the bunnies through my die cut machine with the coordinating die, and I also ran a piece of orange plaid paper from the Pretty Pastels 6x6 pack from Whimsy Stamps through my die cut machine with the stitched triple peekaboo windows. I also cut down a strip of polka dot paper from the same paper pack to go behind the windows, and I just kind of placed it on my card base, which is a top folding A2 size note card, and used a pencil to mark the lines where I needed to line that up to make sure that the windows were directly above the polka dots and I didn't have any space on either side. I adhered the polka dot paper flat onto my card base. I put a little bit of adhesive on the paws of the bunnies just to kind of hold them in place so that they could be peeking out those windows. Of course, I'm going to coat the back of that piece with a whole bunch of foam tape because I did want it to have some dimension. And after I had all that release paper removed, I just added that to the front of my note card. Since the middle bunny is looking kind of up and off to the side, I thought it would be really cute to add a little butterfly, which is also from the same stamp set. And I stamped it twice and colored it twice, but I did the bodies different. I wasn't sure what color I wanted to do the butterfly body. I ended up just using the one with the gray body because the one with the yellow-orange colorish body kind of just blended into the cardstock. So I'll just save that butterfly for another card. Once I was done with coloring the butterfly, I did run it through my die cut machine with the coordinating die as well. After I kind of set the butterfly down just to kind of play with the placement, I was kind of looking at the card and I thought that it could probably use a little bit of a ribbon or something in between the bottom bunny and the middle bunny. So I grabbed some green grosgrain ribbon and ran it through my Xyron machine. And then I did tuck it behind his ears so that it wouldn't cover the paws of the bunny above him. Then I just pressed it down really well and cut off the excess ribbon with a pair of scissors. After I had that ribbon strip laid down, I thought it still looked a little heavy on the right side, so I decided to add a bow. So I just tied that separately and adhered that down with a couple of glue dots. Next, I adhered the butterfly using foam tape and then added a little dashed flutter, I guess it's a flutter line behind the butterfly, and decided that his wings needed to be glittery, so I used my Wink of Stella glitter pen And then I decided to go over the flutter lines with the glitter pen as well. To finish up the card, I just added a couple of sequins around the butterfly and underneath the bow. And that finishes up our first card. For the second card, I thought it would be really cute to use one of the other bunnies from the same set. I know technically he's also supposed to be peeking over something, that's the way he's drawn. But when I first saw him, I just thought he's so cute and he's so egg-shaped that I thought it would be fun to stamp him on a variety of patterned papers and turn him into an Easter bunny egg, Easter egg bunny, whichever you prefer. So that's what I did. I used My Favorite Things Extreme Black Hybrid ink on a couple of different patterned papers from the Pretty Pastels pack from Whimsy Stamps. And then I just cut them all using the coordinating die. And then for the layout of the card, I thought it would be cute to kind of enhance the fact that I was trying to turn that bunny into an Easter egg bunny or Easter bunny egg. I chose the egg patterned cardstock from that paper pack and adhered it to a piece of blue and then ran it through my die cut machine with a stitched rectangle die, and I adhered them together before running it through the die cut machine just so I could have the stitching go all the way around. For the remaining bits and pieces of the card, I die cut a piece of green cardstock using the Grassy Edges die from My Favorite Things. I also cut a stitched rectangle from white cardstock and like a light orange cardstock. To adhere the grass to the white rectangle, I cut really thin strips of foam tape to go along the bottom. Once I adhered that to the white cardstock, I trimmed off the excess with my scissors, and then I kind of played with the placement of the bunnies. And I knew that I wanted to have the center bunny be popped up. So for the chevron patterned bunny and the striped bunny, I just used my tape runner to adhere those down. And I made sure to tuck their little paws behind the grass so they took on an even more egg shape look. Then I adhered that to the light orange panel. Next, I adhered the big stitched rectangle to the front of a top folding white note card, and then added some foam tape to adhere the panel with the bunnies on it. After I had done that, I thought that I needed to cover up the seam between the blue paper and the patterned paper, so I just cut a thin strip of orange cardstock and adhered that flat with my tape runner. And to finish up the card, I stamped the sentiment onto a white scrap of cardstock and then ran it through my die cut machine with a fishtail banner and just adhered that to the front also with foam tape, and that finishes up the second card. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would. Don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified when new videos are posted, and we'll catch you next time.